Hey everybody, I'm Alex Big Blue, and this is I Rank the MCU Phase 2. So I ranked the MCU Phase 1 about 2 weeks ago, so if you haven't seen that, you should probably go back and check that out too. But let's go ahead and get right into Phase 2. There's also 6 movies in this phase, just like in the first one. So starting off at the bottom, at number 6, and the first MCU movie that came out that I didn't like, Iron Man 3. So Iron Man 3, for a lot of reasons, one of which you don't really get Tony Stark being Iron Man that much in this one. Thought that was kind of a weird choice. I also hate the Mandarin thing. He was really Iron Man's only villain that I knew much about as a kid, and when I first got into comics before I started reading much Iron Man or anything like that. So I thought just kind of wasting him as a character and making him a actor for no reason. It was a plot twist that wasn't really, to me, that funny, and it certainly wasn't interesting or didn't really do anything for the movie. So I thought that was a really weird choice to waste what I thought was his arch nemesis. I don't know if you would say that in general or not, but definitely one of the more prominent ones in the comics that I know of. And yeah, I just thought that was a stupid choice, and I've always hated that. So much so that they eventually had to kind of retcon that with Shang-Chi, which I'm glad they did at least. But nonetheless, yeah, other than that, Iron Man 3 is just kind of boring to me. I don't really know. It had some good stuff going on at the beginning, like the PTSD angle was kind of fun, but other than that, or I don't know if it's fun, but interesting anyways. But other than that, and where it looked like the Mandarin was going to be an actual villain, and with Ben Kingsley, it was interesting at first. Other than that stuff, just the rest of it falls apart completely, basically for me, and just gets uninteresting, to be honest. And ranked at number 5 in Phase 2 is one movie that is way, way, way too underrated and way too, I don't know, maybe even almost hated by a lot of people, which I find to be very odd personally, which is Thor: The Dark World. I think this movie, first of all, I would have it in a lot of phases would be really high. It would be like maybe 2 or 3 in a lot of them, but just this phase is pretty good, so it's just ever so slightly ahead or behind 1 or 2 of the other ones. But I think this movie is a great sequel. I really don't know why people a lot of times don't gel with it. I think it's a great comic book story. It feels like a kind of two-part issue story to me of a comic book of the Thor when, if, for example, if you was reading it. And I love Curse, and also I don't mind Malekith. I thought he was pretty good too. But yeah, Curse is a character I've always liked a lot, anyways. And I thought they did a pretty fun representation of him in this. And I also think it has a lot of stakes and good character moments, like of course Frigga dying, which is Thor's mom and Loki's. And also I think Loki freaking out in the like kind of just being bummed out in the jail cell and getting to see him react to that was a great scene too. And you also get kind of a fun team up of Thor and Loki and some of the other characters having to try to go out on that mission. And I don't know, I feel like you get some pretty good action and a lot of good comedy. It's the last Thor movie for me that had good comedy in it that didn't just completely override the movie and make it silly to a great degree. So I really appreciated that as well. But yeah, I think it's a great sequel. I mean, like I said, I know I still have it ranked 5th here, but I really like it a lot. At number 4 in Phase 2, I have Ant Man. I think Ant Man is kind of a perfect movie for Ant Man character, to be honest. I thought it was really good. It and the one above it are literally a coin toss. That's how close they are. I could go either way in the other video before I did rank them the opposite way. But yeah, I love Ant Man. I think it's really funny. I think it's a good, like I said, movie for the Ant Man character. I think Paul Rudd as Scott Lang is absolutely great. I also like that you still get Hank Pym in here, and he's acted very well too, of course, with Michael Douglas. And yeah, I don't know. I think this movie has an interesting plot, and Yellow Jacket's a decent enough villain for a one-off movie, I think too. And I just think it's a great like heist film, and also just a really good kind of first start for a superhero in a movie for his franchise. So it's definitely the best Ant Man movie too, in my opinion. By the way, spoilers, I guess, for future. All right, and then at number 3 in Phase 2, Avengers: Age of Ultron. So while this one I do think has some pacing issues a little bit, and a few scenes was a little bit wonky or goofy, for the most part, I really like this movie a lot. Even though it is my least favorite Avengers movie, just by proxy of the other ones being so good. I think it's arguably the best you get of Hawkeye in a movie. I thought he was great in this for sure, and it kind of helped make up for him getting shortchanged a bit in Avengers 1. I think that Hawkeye was, like I said, did all kinds of really good stuff in here and had some good speeches, great action. It's really just really showed how tough the character is too. I don't feel like a lot of the you don't get a lot of him in some of the movies, so that was awesome. I also love the introduction of the Vision. I think Paul Bettany plays him to perfection. Great character. Love the introduction of him and everything he does in this, as well as Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I really love Scarlet Witch, of course, as Elizabeth Olsen. This was a great standout performance for her in this movie, and a great debut as well. And even though I'm kind of mixed on them killing off Quicksilver in this movie, I still like that we got him, and I thought he was decent enough too. I would have liked to see more of him, honestly. But at the same time, I guess it gives it stakes in a way. But yeah, I really like this movie a lot. I think Ultron is super imposing, and you get some great action in this, and you kind of get like a prelude to Civil War with the kind of sort of two sides battling each other. That was really cool as well. You also get some Claw in here. Also, he was kind of interesting as well for what little bit he was in it. And yeah, I just think it's a great movie and a great Avengers sequel as well. At number 2 of Phase 2, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So I think this was an absolutely great Captain America movie. I think also the ending with him battling the Winter Soldier and giving up fighting him because he just wants to win his friend's mind back and heart in a way, and just like making him either choose to kill him or just kind of come back to his senses was a great kind of good comic book ending, like they would do a lot of times, that I appreciated because that's who Captain America is. That is something he would do. I really liked it a lot, actually. And also, the Winter Soldier is super cool in this and very imposing. I also think Robert Redford's character, Pierce, I believe it was also a great villain, and is very evil and like a really good kind of other villain in this as well. And you also get Brock Rumlow. I believe it's his first time he shows up, or in other words, Crossbones. You get him in here, and of course, that actor is in everything basically, but he does a great job here as well. I think he's a great kind of like sub boss almost too to this movie, and I think it also was a really good introduction for the Falcon in this. I thought he was portrayed very well in this as also, and you get tons of great action. And Black Widow gets to shine the most in this, maybe of any of the MCU movies. Certainly, this is one of her standouts, to me at least, because I thought her portrayal of her as a character was done just perfect in this. I really liked it a lot. Her and Captain America and the Falcon, for that matter, their chemistry was really great as well. And then at number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy, because I didn't even know too much about a lot of the characters. I'd heard of them, of course, and I probably had seen them in cartoons or a comic at some point, here and there a little bit. But this was basically most people's real introduction to Star-Lord, Drax, Gamora, Groot, and Rocket Raccoon, or at least for the most part, like I said. I was sort of familiar with some of them. But I thought this movie was great. It is really funny. Of course, that's a standout. It has a lot of great action and a lot of good emotional beats and character moments as well. And I think the coming together of the Guardians of the Galaxy is great, and they have just like a really good way of rapport bouncing off each other and stuff as well. And I think Ronan the Accuser was a pretty decent villain too, especially for a one-off villain. And you get a lot of interesting stuff here building up the universe as well. And I think overall, and in my opinion, it's still the best James Gunn movie. I like Volume 3 a lot too, but I think I would still say this is my favorite James Gunn movie and the best one in my opinion so far. But yeah, I think that Guardians of the Galaxy is ever so slightly right now in this moment over Captain America: The Winter Soldier, my favorite one of Phase 2. And I think Phase 2 overall is really good other than Iron Man 3 in my opinion, by the way. I like it a lot. I think it's pretty close to Phase 1. It'd be interesting eventually to rank those as well. But I'm Alex McBlue. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you later.